Welcome to Passioneer Magazine The Podcast, where you'll hear inspirational stories, encouraging news, and in-depth interviews with authors, influencers, CEOs, and thought leaders. Passioneer Magazine The Podcast. Bold ideas, brave pursuits, boundless inspiration. Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining me for Passioneer Magazine The Podcast. Today, we're going to talk about passion and mental health. Passion and mental health. I know they're not necessarily two words that you would put together, but I think that we should address it nonetheless. So, my question for many folks are, do you find that you are hiding your mental health behind your passion? What do I mean by that? Many times we are dealing with so many things in our lives that we don't realize how we are overlapping many of the things that we do. Some for a positive reason, some for a not so positive reason. Sometimes it's intentional, other times it's even unconscious. We're not aware of the fact that we're doing it, but yet we are. In this episode, we'll look at the profound relationship between passion and mental health. We'll explore ways that one's passion may serve as a therapeutic force, if you will, acting as a coping mechanism, promoting mental well being. We'll also discuss the importance of seeking professional help and building a supportive community for a holistic approach to mental health. Welcome again to Passioneer Magazine, the podcast. The therapeutic power of passion. We begin by examining the psychological and emotional benefits of engaging in activities that one is passionate about. What are some of the things that you do that really get you fired up? What are some of the things that you wish that you could participate in more often because they really do pull at your heartstrings? Whether it's art, sports, music, or any other pursuit, passion has the ability to channel our energy positively. It fosters a sense of purpose and fulfillment. Experts join in the conversation on various levels, and you can check out other podcasts and articles about it. They shed light on the neuroscience aspect of passion and our purpose. They shed light on our passion and how we go about our day-to-day lives. They shed light on our passion and how we see ourselves connected to the world. It's also a positive impact on our mental health. That is, our passion can have a positive impact on our mental health. Another thing that when we talk about passion and mental health is that we should take a look at, are we using our passion as a coping mechanism? Many times the discussions that you'll have shift the role toward the passion as a coping mechanism subconsciously. You're not even aware that you're doing it. If there are challenging times going on in your world and you don't want anyone to really know what's going on, one may have a tendency to speak about their passion in a way to help them cope, in a way to deflect from what's going on in their world. If they're speaking about something passionately, joyfully, enthusiastically, right? If you're talking about your passion, then people feel that you don't have time to make room for any negativity, even though you may be using your passion as a band-aid. Personal stories sometimes can be a way in which you blend the two together. For those who have an ear to hear or an eye to see, you may spot it in some of your friends, in some of the folks that you may even be collaborating with. It's not a bad thing, it just simply is a thing. So listen to people's personal stories, read between the lines, ask the questions that really need to be asked. If it's something that's personal, do it away from the crowd. We're not about embarrassing people, about throwing anyone under the bus, or even throwing a little shade on anyone. Absolutely not. Instead, we want to provide that safe space, that personal space for them, and ask them, are you really okay? Is everything all right? Now, many times folks don't want to share with you more of the personal story than what they've already shared. And if that's the case, respect their boundary, but also inform them and let them know. Should you need a listening ear, should you want to share more, should you need me in any way, I'll be here to help how I can. Now, the flip side of that is sharing case studies. Perhaps they're sharing what's going on with their work, the discoveries that they've made, the challenges that they're dealing with at work. But they're choosing to share the ones that are closely related to what may be going on in their personal life. Again, it is a way for them to share, to unload some of the things going on personally without being quite so personal. Individuals have a way of turning their passion into a coping mechanism, again, when they are going through adversities, stress, and mental health struggles. So, really listen. If you ask the question, how are you? Listen for the answer. If you say, how are you doing? Really look at that person and see what they're telling you. We can explore how intense things can be with that person in a more personal setting. You can focus and help them come along in pursuing a more perfect passion by assisting in the way that you can in a personal session. What do I mean? Many times you just need that confirmation from a friend, that reassurance from a friend. You need to be reminded of who you are by one of your friends. You need to be reminded that you have permission to step away from the project and help make sure that you are in a safe space, that you are in a space where you're able to continue to pour into your work without draining yourself. Here's a little visual for you. If you look at your cell phone right now and it said that it was lower than 30%, would you plug it in? Absolutely, right? Of course you would plug it in, or at least consider plugging it in. If it were at 10%, would you plug it in? I think most people would go, absolutely, like, stop talking to me. I need my charger. I need to plug in. But when it's at 50%, do you consider plugging it in then? Now, a handful will say yes, and another handful will say no. And some folks are probably saying, I don't even notice until it's turned yellow or if it's almost in the red. At 50%, you should consider yourself well below what your norm is. You should always make sure that you are operating with a more fully charged battery with your phone and with your life. I remember that my dad told me one time that when I first started driving, and he said, if you are going to be, out there on the road, you need to make sure you know where your gas needle is. I said, okay. So what should I do? And he says, if you are at half full, half empty, however you look at that. If you are at half, then you are empty. You should always strive to be full. I said, okay, I understand. So when we look at that then, and you're saying that a full tank is a full tank and half is empty, then that means I should strive to never get below 3/4 of a tank. I should strive to never be less than 75% of my capacity. So, in that, we should understand that many times when someone's battery is running at lower than 50% and they're not sure where their charger is for themselves, then they will use their work as the cover until they're able to charge, plug in, and get recharged. Another way that we can look at passion and mental health is that we should make it okay for those who need to seek professional help to do so. While passion can be a valuable asset, we emphasize the importance of recognizing when professional help is needed. Mental health experts join to discuss the conversations about passion and about therapy many times. They share their insights on how individuals can integrate passion into their mental health plan and still provide guidance on where they need to go, what they need to do, and how they can create a more balanced life. Now, don't get me wrong, as an entrepreneur, I know and understand it is difficult to sometimes find that balance, especially when there's a really big and or important project going on. But we should not allow any project to cause our mental health to deteriorate. We should not allow any project to be the thing that does us harm. We need to make sure that we are taking the breaks that we need when we need them. Now, this does not mean that in the middle of your $1 billion project, you're going to just, dart off on some type of wonderful paradise vacation. What I mean is that when you need to step back, step back. If you need to go get a coffee or a tea, do that. If you need to bring in an independent outside source, do that. If you need a fresh pair of eyes or ears, do that. If you need to delegate, do that. If you need to be the person who takes over, do that. When you are the leader, it is important that you operate from your passion. It is important that we give our team members the room they need to operate and function. But we also have to make sure that we are not doing anything to ourselves or allowing our teams to have poor mental health. Many times we can utilize the services of executive coaches to come in and help our team members be the best that they can be and explain it to them in a way that is more targeted to them. So let's destigmatize mental health through passion. Let's start to share our stories of the stress that we do have to deal with as entrepreneurs and what we've done to make sure that we don't allow that stress to be our undoing. Conversations can take a societal turn if we discuss what's going on. Do it openly, no longer from a place of shame or embarrassment, but instead as a collaborative function of destigmatizing. When we destigmatize our mental health, we allow others the permission that they may need to say, I'm going through that as well. See, it's not okay when you think it's just you. But it is okay when you realize that it's millions of others that are experiencing the same thing. Why? Because you understand that you are not alone, that it's not just you, that you're not the odd man or the odd woman out, but in fact, it is something that is a part of the process. Stress. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Stress is a part of the process. Anything that we do that requires us to stretch, to become more, to do more, to achieve higher heights is going to cause us some stress. And if that is something that causes you to have to deal with the after effect, the side effect of your mental health, then we need to have those conversations as well. The last thing that I would suggest that you do when it comes to passion and mental health is to build a strong, supportive community for your well being. Now, I know that many times you've heard folks talk about building community and having a support system. I could not agree with them more. Having a community and a support system really does help you go from A to B. When you have a community, a support system of various peoples, meaning different ages, different places and stages, then they're able to share their wisdom. They're able to share their experiences with you, again, in that safe space. You're able to focus on building that community and building your wellness. You're able to explore the idea of creating and going along on this journey within the community that you've built, within your team of support. You're able to find out that there are other mental health advocates that may be talking about, speaking on, having webinars, workshops, events on the very thing that you are dealing with. You may even find that your work can assist with community leaders because you are in a position now that you have grown, now that you have gone through a portion of the journey, you give back by working with community leaders to perhaps lend your voice to the conversation. Or maybe it's your space, your venue to the event. It doesn't matter. It's just how we operate. It's how we choose to learn and grow, to pay it forward, to continue to move positively, to move forward from where we are to where we want to go. When we normalize these bits and pieces, then people are able to better maneuver their own road, their own journey to where they want to be. As individuals, we have all benefited from the knowledge, the strength, and the wherewithal of those who have gone before. When it comes to passion and mental health, there's no difference there either. So, be it that it is a community in which you share, or it is a team that you have gathered together, or a support group of your friends and family that you have put together in a way that you guys are accountable to each other. It doesn't matter. As long as you continue to share your experiences and allow each other the privacy and the opportunity to speak and share, then you will find that it fosters a safe place of understanding and creates an environment in which you too can grow. So continue along your positive journey of passion and mental health. Don't allow anyone or anything to ever keep you off balance. There will be times where you may slip a little. You may go a little more left or a little more right than you should, but you can always steer clear. You can always steer back onto the path of where you are supposed to be. So, as you continue along your personal growth journey, as you continue along your entrepreneurial path, I wish you good mental health. Thank you for listening to Passioneer Magazine, the podcast.